20 forgotten appliances from the past you won't believe exist. Let's turn back time and explore inventions that once transformed daily life. From ice boxes keeping food fresh, coal stoves heating homes, to hand-cranked food processors in the kitchen, these gadgets were once cutting-edge technology, now standing as quirky reminders of innovation. Let's dive into these vintage devices. Waffle irons with detachable plates. Before non-stick electric waffle makers became the go-to in kitchens, waffle irons with detachable plates were a versatile and practical tool. These old-fashioned irons were designed to be used on stovetops or even over an open flame, making them perfect for those who loved a homemade waffle no matter where they were. The detachable plates were often adorned with intricate patterns, creating beautiful waffles with a touch of craftsmanship. Some of these plates were even designed to double as grills, adding more functionality to the device. Whether you were making waffles or grilling a sandwich, these irons offered great versatility. However, as electric waffle makers gained popularity, these stovetop versions gradually faded into the background. With the rise of convenience and non-stick surfaces, the classic waffle iron with detachable plates became a nostalgic kitchen relic, remembered for its unique design and multi-purpose use. Mangle Wringer washers. Imagine doing laundry without the convenience of a spin cycle. Before automatic washers took over, Mangle or Wringer washers were the go-to solution in the early 20th century. These machines marked a major advancement in laundry technology, combining a basic washing mechanism with two hand-cranked rollers designed to wring out excess water from clothes. It made laundry day a bit easier, but it also made it a major event. Using these Wringer washers, you'd wash your clothes by hand in a tub, then feed them through the rollers to remove water. While it saved time compared to wringing clothes by hand, the rollers were powerful and unforgiving. Many people suffered from injuries, fingers, or even clothing could get caught, often resulting in painful accidents. Despite the risks, Wringer washers were a practical choice for many households at the time. But with the rise of automatic washing machines in the mid-20th century, which could wash and spin clothes with little effort, the Mangle washer quickly faded into obsolescence. Shoe buffers. Back when polished shoes were a hallmark of respectability, shoe buffers were a must-have for anyone who wanted to keep their leather footwear looking its best. These compact motorized machines made shining shoes quick and effortless. Equipped with rotating brushes or cloth pads, they turned what could have been a tedious task into a simple, efficient process. Shoe buffers weren't just about practicality. They represented pride in one's appearance and an eye for detail. Owning one was a small but important step in maintaining a polished, professional image. However, as fashion trends shifted and casual footwear became more popular in the late 20th century, the demand for shiny leather shoes and the shoe buffers that maintained them steadily declined. Ice boxes. Before refrigerators, keeping food fresh was a constant challenge. That's where the icebox came in. An ingenious yet simple solution that became a household staple from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. These early appliances looked similar to modern refrigerators, but were typically made of wood, with a compartment designed to hold large blocks of ice to keep the food cold. Families relied on ice delivery men who would bring massive blocks of ice right to their homes. The ice would be placed in the icebox, and the cold air would keep perishables fresh for a time. But it wasn't a perfect system. The ice would melt over the course of the day, and someone had to regularly replenish it. Despite the inconvenience, ice boxes played a crucial role in everyday life. But by the 1930s, the advent of electric refrigerators, much more efficient and reliable, started to replace them, marking the end of an era. Vacuum coffee makers. If you can't start your day without a good cup of coffee, imagine brewing it with a contraption that looks like something straight out of a chemistry lab. That's exactly what vacuum coffee makers brought to the table. Popular in the early to mid-28th century, these stylish and scientific devices weren't just about making coffee. They turned brewing into a fascinating experience. Using vapor pressure to push water into an up chamber and vacuum suction to pull it back down through the grounds, these machines crafted a rich, flavorful brew. Watching the process felt like a mix of science and art, and for many, it was as much about the ritual as it was about the taste. However, these coffee makers were fragile and required careful cleaning and maintenance. Over time, more practical options like drip coffee makers and electric percolators took over kitchens, leaving vacuum coffee makers as a relic of a bygone era. Still, their unique brewing method and sleek designs hold a special place in coffee history. Which of these vintage gadgets did you or your family use growing up? Share your memories with us. Butter churns. Before butter came pre-packaged at the store, families depended on butter churns to get the job done. These simple yet effective tools were a household staple throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. For many, churning butter was more than just a task. It was a regular part of life. The process, though straightforward, wasn't quick. Turning cream into butter took time, muscle, and a lot of patience. It was a weekly chore in most homes, often done by whoever had the energy to keep the churn going until the butter was ready. But as industrial dairy production grew and store-bought butter became widely available, butter churns slowly disappeared from everyday life. While they're now mostly seen as antiques, butter churns were once an essential part of every kitchen. Toaster ovens with rollers. Picture this. You pop a slice of bread into a toaster oven, and instead of sitting still, it glides smoothly through on a conveyor belt, emerging golden and crispy on the other side. That's the charm of toaster ovens with rollers, a quirky yet practical invention that found its way into mid-20th century kitchens. These machines worked like magic. Bread was placed on a conveyor belt that passed through heated elements, ensuring an even toast on both sides. It wasn't just a toaster, it was a mini assembly line for your breakfast. While undeniably fun to watch, roller toasters were eventually overshadowed by simpler, more compact pop-up toasters and versatile modern ovens. Though they've mostly disappeared from home kitchens, their innovative design is still alive and well in commercial settings, where conveyor toasters handle high volumes of toast with ease. Ironing stoves. Imagine pressing clothes without the ease of plugging in an iron. Before electric irons revolutionized laundry, people relied on ironing stoves, a humble yet essential tool for a polished look. These stoves were small, purpose-built heat sources used to warm heavy, flat irons, which were then used to press clothes. Using an ironing stove wasn't just a task, it was a skill. Heating the iron required patience, and using it demanded precision and care to avoid scorching fabrics or, worse, burning yourself. It was a slow, deliberate process, and keeping the iron at the right temperature added another layer of challenge. By the early 20th century, electric irons began to dominate the market, offering consistent heat and much greater convenience. With that, the once indispensable ironing stove gradually became a relic, remembered as a cornerstone of old-fashioned domestic life. Coal-fired stoves. Imagine a time when the heart of every kitchen wasn't an electric range or a gas stove, but a heavy cast-iron coal-fired stove. These versatile appliances were the backbone of homes long before modern stoves took their place. Not only did they cook meals, but they also provided much-needed warmth, especially during chilly winters. Using a coal-fired stove was no simple task. It required skill to manage the heat, as maintaining the right temperature for cooking meant carefully adding coal and adjusting airflow. Timing was everything, and preparing a meal often demanded patience and attention. But these stoves were more than just practical. They were symbols of family life. Kitchens were the hub of the home, and the coal stove was its centerpiece, where people gathered for warmth, conversation, and shared meals. As gas and electric stoves became widely available and easier to use, coal-fired stoves gradually faded into history. Manual ice crushers. Before electric blenders took over kitchens, manual ice crushers were a must-have tool for anyone wanting to make refreshing drinks or cool desserts. These hand-cranked devices were simple but effective. You'd place a block of ice inside, turn the crank, and watch as the ice was broken down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Using a manual ice crusher wasn't just about getting the job done, it was a tactile experience. You could feel the resistance as the ice was ground down, and the process itself became part of the fun. Whether you were making snow cones, cocktails, or chilled treats, it was a hands-on task that added a bit of charm to the preparation. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Electric shoe dryers. Got wet shoes? Back in the mid-20th century, electric shoe dryers were the perfect solution. These compact devices blew warm air into your shoes, drying them out quickly and efficiently. The design was simple. Just plug it in, insert the dryer into your shoes, and let the warm air work its magic. Electric shoe dryers became especially popular in places with harsh climates, where wet, cold weather could leave shoes soaked through. They offered a convenient way to dry out footwear without the need for extra time and effort. But as shoe materials improved and became more water-resistant, the need for these dryers faded. Electric carpet sweepers. Before vacuum cleaners became the household standard, electric carpet sweepers offered a revolutionary way to keep floors clean. These compact, lightweight devices featured rotating brushes powered by a motor, making it easier to pick up dirt and debris from carpets and floors. Electric carpet sweepers were incredibly easy to use. They were quieter and more affordable than the bulky, noisy vacuum cleaners of the time, making them a popular choice for everyday cleaning. For light cleaning, they did the job well, providing a quick and simple solution for maintaining tidy floors. However, as vacuum cleaners grew more powerful and versatile, electric carpet sweepers became less practical. The advent of more efficient and powerful vacuums gradually pushed these sweepers out of the picture, leaving them as a memory of a simpler time in household cleaning. Meat safes. Before the days of refrigerators, meat safes were a crucial part of keeping food fresh, especially in warmer climates. These cabinets, typically made of wood or metal, were lined with fine mesh or perforated tin, allowing for airflow while protecting the contents from insects and pests. Placed in cool, shaded areas, meat safes relied on natural ventilation to slow down the spoiling process of meats and other perishable foods. While they weren't as effective as modern refrigeration, they were a clever solution that helped preserve food for a little longer, making them indispensable in many households. However, with the rise of electric refrigeration in the early 20th century, meat safes gradually became obsolete. Refrigerators provided a much more reliable and efficient way to store food, leading to the decline of these once essential kitchen tools. Hand-cranked food processors. Before the convenience of electric blenders and food processors, hand-cranked models were the go-to tool for chopping, mixing, and pureeing ingredients. These simple yet reliable devices required a bit of elbow grease to operate, but offered great versatility for tasks in the kitchen. The design was straightforward, usually consisting of a crank that powered a set of blades or a rotating mechanism to process food. Despite the physical effort needed, these hand-cranked processors were known for their durability and effectiveness. As electric appliances became more affordable and widespread, the demand for hand-cranked food processors began to decline. Today, they've mostly been replaced by their electric counterparts, but they remain a nostalgic reminder of simpler kitchen tools that got the job done with just a little more effort. Rotary phones with built-in dialers. Long before smartphones and touchscreens, rotary phones with built-in dialers were the pinnacle of communication technology. These phones had a circular dial with numbered holes, and to make a call, you had to spin the dial for each digit. It wasn't just about dialing, it was an intentional process. What set rotary phones apart was their sturdy mechanical design. They were built to last, and the physical motion of dialing made each call feel deliberate. There was something satisfying about hearing the click of the dial as it spun back into place after each number. However, as technology advanced, push-button phones emerged, offering quicker, more efficient ways to make calls. Later, digital technology and smartphones replaced the rotary phone entirely, making it a thing of the past. Do you have a favorite piece of vintage tech or home appliance that you still use today? Tell us about it. Wood-fired water heaters. Before the convenience of electric and gas water heaters, wood-fired water heaters were the go-to solution for heating water. These heaters were simple yet effective. Users would build and maintain a fire beneath a metal tank, heating the water for bathing, cooking, and cleaning. The process required some effort and skill. Lighting and stoking the fire took time, and managing the heat and flames needed experience. Plus, they often doubled as a source of warmth. By the mid-20th century, the rise of electric and gas water heaters, more efficient and easier to use, made wood-fired heaters a thing of the past. Radiant room heaters. Before central heating systems became widespread, radiant room heaters were the go-to solution for keeping warm during cold winters. These portable heaters worked by emitting heat from glowing metal coils or ceramic plates. Their compact size made them easy to move from room to room, providing heat where it was most needed. However, the exposed heating elements could be a safety risk. As central heating technology advanced, radiant room heaters became less popular. Percolators. The bubbling sound of a percolator brewing coffee was once a familiar and comforting sound. These classic coffee makers were the go-to method for brewing coffee before drip coffee makers took over, extracting a bold and robust flavor. Brewing with them required careful attention. It was easy to overbrew and make the coffee too strong or bitter. By the 1970s, percolators started to fall out of favor as drip coffee makers became more popular. Hair dryers with hoods. Before handheld hair dryers became the norm, hair dryers with hoods were the ultimate tool for at-home hairstyle styling. These devices featured a large dome-shaped hood that covered the hair. Using one felt like a luxurious salon-like experience, offering a level of comfort that handheld models couldn't match. As handheld hair dryers became more affordable, the hooded models faded into the background. Vacuum tube radios. In the early 20th century, vacuum tube radios transformed entertainment and communication. These beautifully crafted wooden radios brought the world into homes. The magic lay in the vacuum tubes inside, which amplified sound. The soft glow emitted by the tubes added a certain charm. Owning one was a mark of sophistication. However, by the 1950s and 60s, the development of transistor technology made the bulky vacuum tube radios obsolete. 39 household items everyone had 30 years ago. Giant CRT TV sets. Stuck-filled candy jars. Furniture with cushions designed too elaborately. Tetris floors. The decade-old mixer. Victorian crockpot. Needle ball. The poncho blanket. Fancy dresser. Salad bowl. Film container. Pandora's box. CD binder. Creepy figurine. Bookshelves. Desktop computers. Incandescent light bulbs. Alarm clocks. Fax machines. Landlines. Answering machines. Calculators. Phone book. Takeout menus. A map. Camcorder. iPod. DVD players. Photo albums. Checks. Sifter. Viewmaster. Coffee maker. Ice trays. Can opener. Wine bottle opener. Silly putty. VHS holders. 2 keys for a single car. 1970s things found in every home. 1970s things found in every home. Get ready to groove back to the 1970s, where bold colors, funky patterns, and handcrafted charm ruled the day. This unforgettable decade brought personality to every corner of our homes. Join us as we rediscover the iconic decor and hidden treasures that defined the era. Kitchens. Step into a 1970s kitchen, and you will be greeted by a symphony of color that extends far beyond the countertops and cabinets. Forget the sleek stainless steel or classic white and black appliances of today. The 70s embraced a rainbow of hues, with avocado green, harvest gold, and sunny yellow reigning supreme. These colorful appliances were not just functional, they were statement pieces. While these vibrant appliances might seem like a relic of the past, many were built to last. However, as design trends shifted in the 1980s, the once beloved colors fell out of favor. Imagine chrome accents gleaming on the legs of kitchen chairs. Pyrex dishes, a staple in kitchens today, were elevated to an art form in the 70s, vibrant, colorful, and proudly displayed. No 70s kitchen was complete without its iconic glass pendant lights, suspended above the dining table like giant glowing orbs. Vinyl tablecloths were another must-have, protecting the table while adding true retro charm. And for the ultimate in 70s entertaining, nothing could rival the fondue pot, a communal dining experience that was all the rage, though not without its hazards. Before the days of single-serve coffee makers, the 70s kitchen was dominated by the massive full-pot coffee maker. Vinyl records. The 1970s marked the golden age of vinyl records, a time when music lovers embraced the warm analog sound and the tactile experience of flipping through album covers that were often works of art. Concept albums like the Eagles' iconic Hotel California reached new heights of storytelling. The artistry of album cover design was a hallmark of the 70s. While vinyl records have experienced a resurgence, their popularity in the 70s was unparalleled. Record stores were bustling hubs of musical discovery. Living room furniture. The first thing that would catch your eye is the iconic floral sofa, a true centerpiece of the era. Big, bold, and bursting with vibrant floral patterns. If floral was not your cup of tea, perhaps you would gravitate toward the solid-colored armchairs, with the most coveted shade being harvest gold, though avocado green and persimmon orange were close contenders. And let us not forget the round ottomans, upholstered in the same signature 70s palette. But perhaps the most iconic seating option was the beanbag chair. These squishy, shapeless wonders were a favorite among kids and adults alike, popping up everywhere. No 70s living room was complete without the ubiquitous crocheted blanket, a handmade testament to the era's love for craft and cozy decor. Phones. In the 1970s, the telephone was a symbol of durability and simplicity. These were phones built to last. The rotary dial, a familiar icon, offered a tactile and satisfying experience. Though push-button phones had emerged in 1963, their adoption was gradual, and many homes in the 70s still relied on the trusty rotary dial. Regardless of your preference, the 70s phone was a central fixture in the home, a lifeline to the outside world. Walls. The 1970s took a bold turn. Forget the sleek shiplap of today, it was all about embracing the warmth of wood paneling, plywood, or fiberboard designed to mimic real timber. If wood was not your jam, your walls were adorned with wallpaper that could only be described as funky, vibrant geometric patterns, exploding in a kaleidoscope of contrasting colors. And let us not forget the textured walls that begged to be touched, from flocked or foiled paper to textured plaster. Colonial-style furniture. The 1970s witnessed a resurgence of interest in colonial-style furniture, a design aesthetic that harkened back to America's early history. This revival might have been fueled by the nation's bicentennial celebrations in 1976. Homes of the 70s were adorned with colonial-inspired pieces, stately wingback chairs in living rooms, and four-poster beds in bedrooms. The popularity of colonial furniture reflected a desire for enduring style and quality craftsmanship. Fringe frenzy. The prevalence of fringe in 70s homes speaks to the era's embrace of texture and movement. Imagine stepping into a 70s home and being greeted by a doorway framed by a cascade of fringe. Even the lampshades were not spared, their soft glow enhanced by the delicate swaying of the fringe. Of course, the love for fringe might also suggest that people in the 70s simply enjoyed a good dusting challenge. Retro vacation memories. In the 1970s, vacations were meticulously documented using Super 8 film and slide projectors. These home movie nights were social events, opportunities for families and neighbors to connect and relive experiences. The projector screen became a portal to another time and place. Alarm clocks. Step into a home from the 1970s, and you'd likely find the iconic flip clock, alarm clock perched proudly on the nightstand. This mechanical marvel, with its numbered panels that flipped over with a rhythmic click-clack, became a staple of the decade. Encased in the beloved fake wood veneer, it blended effortlessly with the era's warm, earthy decor. Televisions. Back in the 1970s, the television wasn't just an appliance, it was a commanding piece of furniture. These massive console TVs, housed in polished wood cabinets, anchored the entire living room layout. And of course, no viewing experience was complete without the classic TV tray, the perfect companion for enjoying dinner while watching the latest primetime hit. Pottery craze of the 1970s. The 1970s sparked a nationwide pottery craze, aligning perfectly with the decade's love for natural textures and handcrafted charm. Pottery became both a creative outlet and a decorative statement, reflecting the era's appreciation for earthy materials and artisan craftsmanship. Whether amateur hobbyists or devoted collectors, people embraced ceramics as part of the home's organic aesthetic. Rec rooms. A true rec room in the 1970s wasn't complete without its iconic seating lineup. The pod chair, egg chair, ball chair, or globe chair, each one a futuristic escape pod of comfort. To set the mood, these spaces were illuminated by funky, experimental lighting, featuring colorful filaments and unusual shapes that bathed the room in a groovy, otherworldly glow. The home stereo system. In the 1970s, the home stereo system was a true centerpiece of the living room. These elaborate setups, often displayed in sleek wooden cabinets, transformed ordinary living spaces into personal concert halls. The record player held a place of honor, spinning vinyl with that unmistakable analog warmth. And for those who embraced cutting-edge tech of the 1970s, the 8-track player, with its handy cartridges, offered a portable and accessible alternative. Floating stairs. Ascend to the second floor of a home from the 1970s, and you might encounter the iconic floating staircase. These architectural marvels, appearing almost suspended in mid-air, became a hallmark of the decade's bold interior design, adding drama, intrigue, and a futuristic touch to the home. Rattan furniture. The 1970s witnessed the migration of patio furniture into the living room, as rattan's natural charm captivated homeowners everywhere. The most iconic piece of rattan furniture from the 1970s was the legendary peacock chair, a majestic throne-like seat that came to symbolize bohemian elegance. The 8-track tape. Alongside vinyl records, another format vied for musical dominance in the 1970s. The 8-track tape. But despite its popularity, the format had infamous drawbacks, the most notorious being the dreaded mid-song track change, where the music would abruptly cut off before resuming on another track. Macrame mania. The 1970s were the era when macrame reigned supreme. You couldn't escape the intricate knotted designs that adorned homes everywhere, from macrame plant holders to macrame wall hangings. And towering above them all were the beloved macrame owls, which became a defining symbol of the decade. Let me know in the comments if I missed any cool gadgets. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, check out more videos in the series. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who loves vintage tech as much as you do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.